And now considering the Mahadasha of Ketu. This was an interesting dasha that we did spend a lot of time going over in the spring semester online classes. And those of you who are interested in those, they are available at AshevilleVedicAstrology.com under the Astrological Principles courses. So go to the audio and video tab at AshevilleVedicAstrology.com and look at the Astrological Principles 1, 2, and 3. And within that class, I believe I looked at in detail 2 specific charts examining the Ketu Dasha. And again, why did I do that? Because there is a lot of folklore and superstition and myth around the nodes. So we used some examples to kind of brush the superstition and myth away so we could understand that Ketu can work in a positive fashion. Again, depending on his placement and how his Lord is situated, how his Lord is functioning. But let's see what Parashara has to say. Now I will tell you about the Dasha of Ketu, who is a headless trunk amongst all the planets. So he's a body without a head. Should Ketu be in Kendra, Trikona, or the 11th, in a benefic sign, in his sign of exaltation or his own sign, there will be during his Dasha cordial relations with authorities, the king, government, desired headship of a country or a village, comforts of conveyances, happiness from children, gain from foreign countries, happiness from wife and acquisition of cattle. If Ketu be in the 3rd, the 6th, or the 11th, there will be in his Dasha acquisition of a kingdom, attainment of high position, good relations with friends, and opportunities for acquisition of elephants or expensive vehicles. That's how we can translate elephants. At the commencement of Ketu Dasha, there will be Raja Yoga. During the middle portion of the Dasha, there will be possibilities of fearfulness, and in the last part there will be sufferings from ailments and journeys to distant places. If Ketu be in the 2nd, the 8th, or the 12th, or be aspected by a malefic, there will be imprisonment, destruction of kinsmen and residential premises, anxieties, company of menials, and diseases. So Parashara puts both the positive and the negative together in these verses 72 through 77. But again, as I keep mentioning, if you don't have this book, please rewind this video and step by step write down these variables to properly assess a Ketu Dasha. Write them down in your notes, get them in your mind, and review them. We can see that when Ketu is in difficult houses, typically considered difficult houses, the 3rd and the 6th, there will be in his Dasha acquisition of kingdom. This also occurs in the 11th. Why is that? Because there is a principle that when a malefic is in the 3rd or the 6th, that gives strength and courage. The 3rd in particular. Because you have a benefic in the 3rd, you're relying a little more on goodness and grace versus the valor that might be needed for success. So all those warriors that we have, all those successful people, those courageous leaders, you would want them to have malefics in these kinds of positions so they could overcome the opposition, which is again one reason why we need to look at the chart as a whole rather than just saying, oh, malefics are here, that's bad. Because malefics might be good in that particular position, and benefics maybe not so much. And we need to remember as well, as I mentioned in the video on the Dasha of Rahu, that the nodes will act like their lords. So when you're trying to assess the Dasha of Ketu or Rahu, number one, you need to see what houses they are in. You need to review what does Rahu and Ketu mean. So you can refer back to videos on this channel on Rahu and Ketu. You can read about Rahu and Ketu in the Art and Science of Vedic Astrology series, those books, any books really, any good books. And when you go into a Rahu or Ketu Dasha, those particular influences will come into your life. But you also need to understand where is the Lord of that planet, where is the Lord of Ketu. If the Lord of Ketu is in the 10th, well, during the Ketu Dasha, there will be an emphasis of 10th house measures, 10th house affairs. If the Lord of Ketu is in the fourth, there will be an emphasis of fourth house things. So again, we need to understand what are the houses, what do they mean. Once more, refer to this channel, look up the videos that describe each house, find out where Ketu's Lord is, so whatever sign Ketu is in, who rules that sign, and then see where that planet goes, the Lord of that sign, and then that will give you deeper insight into the particular situation that might occur during a Ketu Dasha or a Dasha of the node. So these are all important things to consider when we're looking at the Dasha, the Mahadasha of Ketu. And we could get quite a bit more specific by looking at the sub-cycles, but for now, one step at a time, and let's just focus on the Mahadasha cycle. So next up, we have Venus to consider.